Kendra.
I'm Dan.
And we're here at the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles.
In the diner.
In the diner. We love the diner.
We love the diner.
We do.
Be better if there's some good food here.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help
Like
you
a
there.
hamburger.
The stuff on that grill is not recommended.
No, it's if you like crisp bacon, no.
I also don't like my dippy eggs to curl.
You don't? Oh,
or over easy.
Yeah.
I'll just let my Pennsylvania Dutchiness out.
Dippy eggs.
Dippy. So this is a series that we like to call, So Where Have You Been Lately?
So where have you been lately?
Where have I been lately? Well, so this past summer, I revisited a site I hadn't been to since high school, actually. And I highly recommend it. If you're in Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, this is a really good place to go and just have a nice, peaceful and sort of meditative experience, I think. I'm talking about the Ellis Woods Cemetery in East Coventry, northern Chester County. There's the sign for it, a little weathered a bit, but if you want to get there, so let's say you're at the intersection of Route 23 and 100. So we're in Boyertown, so we're right off 100, so we're going to go south on 100. And when we get to 23, we're going to turn left. We're going to go east towards Phoenixville. And if you know where the Ridge Fire Company is down there on Route 23, just a little past that, you're going to come to an intersection with Ellis Woods Road. You have to turn left onto Ellis Woods Road. The road does cross 23, but it's called Heater Road if you go south. You want to go north of 23. Take that left onto Ellis Woods. And about 2.5 miles up Ellis Woods Road, you'll come to this cemetery. There's an aerial view of it too. There's a little red pin there at the Ellis Woods. And Buckwalter Road kind of comes to a T there at Ellis Woods and kind of goes into the parking area for this. There's not much parking. You can maybe park 10 cars in that lot, maybe. When I had the sign up there, you may have noticed some numbers there. It said 1777 to 78. That refers to the years. This is a cemetery for Revolutionary War soldiers. And let's quick do a little history of what was going on in the Revolutionary War in 1777. The Battle of Brandywine is September 11th, 1777. So that's down like near Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania, in Chester County as well, south of here. Brandywine is the largest single-day engagement of the Revolutionary War. Which I didn't know that till recently. I know it was a big battle, but that was the largest single-day battle of the war. And like I said, it's in Chadds Ford. It's about 28 miles south of this cemetery. Now, you know, at this point, the British had taken Philly back. And Chester County is really important, and the British think it's really important to take as well. Why? You know, because you're probably thinking it's mostly farming at this point. Well, one reason was it had a large Quaker population, and the Quakers are pacifists. So not that they're necessarily loyal to the British, but the British assume they're not going to really put up a fight, you know, and work with or help really abet the revolutionaries here. So that's one reason. And the other reason is the iron furnaces. And in particular, we're going to talk briefly about Warwick Furnace, because after Brandywine, Washington's army moves north towards Warwick Furnace, which is in Warwick Township, right by East Coventry Township. I'm from Warwick Township, and actually I'm from about a mile from Warwick Furnace. So I talked about Warwick Furnace very briefly before when we did this Where You've Been Lately.
A bridge?
Yes, there's a bridge out there that I talked about to go visit. And that's by what remains of Warwick Furnace, which isn't much. It's like some part of the stone structure is left. But Warwick Furnace was making a lot of cannonballs. So this is a really important place. Washington and his army kind of stopped there. I think they even helped there for a brief amount of time. Now, later, at the end of 1777, in December, is when they arrive in Valley Forge. So you can kind of see how they're moving up northern Chester County here. And then they cross the Schuylkill River at Parker Ford, which is very close to Ellis Woods Cemetery. There's an inn there, the Parkerford Inn, which is on Old Schuylkill Road, or Old 724. You can drive by that too. I think it's in not the best state of repair at this point. I think they tried to restore it. I think that fizzled out, but the building is still there. So if you're at Ellis Woods, go a little more further up to Old Schuylkill Road. You can see the old Parkerford Inn. And that's where they crossed the river, across the Schuylkill. They were supposed to cross at Pottsgrove, and the water was too high there. So they came back down to Parkerford.
So you say this was Washington and his soldiers.
They're on their way to Valley Forge.
Are they being pursued at the time?
I would assume they probably were.
Yeah.
It's almost, and I'm a history person. Sometimes it's almost weird to think about wars back then because they weren't moving too fast. And you think things move so fast now. These guys are on foot.
I'm kind of picturing the geography there where you got Brandywine, where I think that is, and then you're moving north to this area, and then Valley Forge is a little bit to the east. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Valley Forge is Montgomery County, so they did cross the county line there.
And they had the battle at Brandywine, and then they moved from
north.
there. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Now, the many of the soldiers, they were offered shelter in that Ellis Woods area, and a lot of them probably were severely weakened. They may have been injured at Brandywine. These were soldiers on their way to Valley Forge. The ones buried at Ellis Woods didn't make it. And of course, we have to remember too, back then, it was more likely that you died of things like pneumonia, infections. They didn't understand how germs work and sanitation. And of course, they're also just not dressed well for the elements. They don't have good shoes or really good clothes. And this is, we're filming this in November and it's chilly out there. So, and it's hard for these guys, and they're probably not eating the best either. But there are people in the area that offer them shelter, and some of them just did not make it. So the residents in that area now had to do something with these bodies, and they set aside this little piece of land here at Ellis Woods and buried these soldiers. Now there's 17 marked graves, but we really don't actually know how many are buried there. Of course, there's the locals that say there's 150 there, and we really don't know. And we don't know how many because apparently Washington was always kind of reluctant to exactly mark graves. He didn't think it was tactically a smart thing to do, which I thought was interesting. But we're pretty sure there's more than 17 there because, of course, as you saw on that aerial, that's like, I think you can vaguely see like the yellow line, center line on Ellis Woods Road. Obviously, it wasn't always like that. They've widened that road. When they've widened the road, they've uncovered remains. So we're not sure how many are there. Now, during the Civil War, so let's move ahead here about 90 years or so, the land was owned by John Ellis. So that's where we have gotten the name Ellis Woods then. His farm was also part of the Underground Railroad, actually, which is interesting. And actually, if you that Parker Ford Inn, there's a house right by there that was also part of the Underground Railroad. So I imagine they went from his farm to that house over there. Now, after the Civil War, Ellis's daughters started to place flowers on the graves. And actually, I should say, the one is his daughter. The other one, I read a girl he was in charge of. So I don't know if she was an orphan or, a ward or something that he took in. and was raising. But these two little girls start putting flowers on the graves, and the Grand Army of the Republic, which is a social group sort of Union veterans, they are kind of inspired by this, and they decide to go out and they put a flag holder at each grave. And there you'll see that, well, at least the 17 that they know of. Those like circle grave markers, and they can hold a flag in them. So they put those out there. They could never get government markers placed because they don't know the names of the dead that are buried there. So they have these markers though. Now, John Ellis, he's interesting. And I don't know why he did this. He said they could decorate the graves, but he did not allow them to have memorial services there. I don't know why. Didn't really explain, but I thought that was interesting. But so the Grand Army of the Republic continues to decorate these graves. And eventually John Ellis doesn't own the farm anymore. And once it's not owned by him is when they start annual memorial services. So in 1920, the Grand Army of the Republic starts to get the U.S. Spanish War veterans of Pottstown to get involved. The Union veterans are starting to get old at this point. By 1920, they need to get another group involved. So the Spanish War, which is interesting because everyone forgets about the Spanish War, but they start to get involved. By 1922, that group buys the land, and they do that because there's a sawmill nearby that's going to be destroyed. And actually, there's a road that runs up the back there that's called Sawmill Road. So
clever.
They were very literal back then. The sawmill is going to be destroyed and potentially ruin the cemetery. So this group forms the Ellis Woods Memorial Association, and they buy this plot, this part of the land. And then you can see there's a boulder there. They put that plaque on there.
So how big of an area is this?
It's not too big.
I mean, you said there's 17 confirmed there, but maybe 150, I think.
Supposedly. So you go in, and like I said, there's parking, maybe 10 small cars. You aren't going to fit 10 pickup trucks in this lot. Maybe 10 small cars.
Like copper colored?
Like little tangerine cars like I drive.
Yeah.
And you walk, you see the 17 markers there, and there's a little extra land there to kind of walk around. And they do hold an annual Memorial Day, Sunday. They do it the day before Memorial Day. They hold an annual service there. It's maintained now by the Joint Veterans Council of Pottstown. And you can see, I was there in July. It was after July 4th. And there's flowers on the graves. So someone went in and decorated them, probably this Joint Veterans Council. There is a photo there too of the overall size. You can see there is like a chain link fence around it. It's kind of hard to see because there's a lot of trees. It's like in the forest. Ellis Woods. There you go. Yeah. But it's really peaceful to be there. I thought about this past summer because I used to play in that ceremony in high school. They get musicians there to play some patriotic music and things like that. And I played in that in high school. And I don't know, I was in the area and I thought, I haven't been there since high school. So I took a short little detour and I just walked around. There was no one else there, which I assume is the norm most days. And it was very peaceful, and it was a beautiful day too. But you can't help but just go there and just think, and there's like no road noise. It's really quiet. So you really get to just kind of experience it. You see a lot of forest, and then next door is a farm. So you see a barn there that may have been there for a lot of this time too. I was going to ask, what's the surrounding environment like? But there's woods in the farm. If you go to that memorial that Sunday, day before Memorial Day service, which I'm assuming they still do. If you Google this, you'll find a couple write-ups and some papers every couple years about it. The most recent I saw was 2018, so I'm assuming that they're still doing it. Parking is awful because people do turn out for it, and it's not like Ellis Woods and Buckwalter Road have shoulders to park on. Parking is hard when you're going to that service, so just be forewarned about that. But if you just go on a regular day, you'll have plenty of space there, and it's just really nice. It's nice that it's being maintained, and it obviously is. I mean, it's mowed. It's not overgrown or anything, but it's very peaceful. So if you're in northern Chester County, do stop by the Ellis Woods Revolutionary War Cemetery. It's really nice. If you go on Google Maps, just type Ellis Woods Cemetery. It does come up. It'll
Now, you said there was a sawmill there that was going to get destroyed or something in the 20s?
Yeah.
So there's probably no sign of that. It's probably all
Not that I
overgrown.
know of.
Yeah.
Not that I know of. That's a good question.
There's probably 100-year-old trees sitting on it now.
When you're standing,
Right? Yeah.
when you're standing in that area, you have the road it's right at the road. So you have the road running behind you, on the one side. It's like a rectangle on the one side. Two sides are just forest, and you really don't see much else. And then you have this barn on the other side. So it's really very nice. You don't really you kind of lose yourself in time too, which is cool. So there's a place. That's where I've been lately.
Cool.
So I recommend you can hop in your car one day and take a little trip out there and enjoy yourself. And next time we're going to find out where Dan has been lately. It's his turn next.
Okay.
So you have to tune in next time and see where we send you. And if you want more information about the Boyertown Museum, please check out our website, www.boyertownmuseum.org, or visit our Facebook page. And we would love to hear from you or see you at the museum or go visit this cemetery. So thanks for tuning in.